What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Wednesday, May 29th, 2024, and we are back on here with another midday live here on the Torian Rain Reloaded channel. If you haven't done so already, I would appreciate it if you go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you are new, share the stream on your various social media platforms. I would greatly appreciate that. Shout out to all of the members that are on here, everybody who's over on Patreon, everybody on Twitter, well, X, Instagram, and Discord, and especially all of those who send me stories every single day. So we have another interesting stream lined up today. This is kind of a piggyback off of the midday that we did on Monday. Of course, you know the one we did on Monday was a triple P on Latina Brown for putting together that South Bronx rally for Trump that she did not get any credit for. And we kept trying to tell these people that you are only as useful or as much use as they want to use you for. And I had hinted that today's stream was going to be about 45's part in the rally itself. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. And before I do all of that, let me acknowledge the people who are here in the chat so far. We have Patricia Slade, Firebat, Reparations Nation, Queen Imani, Craig Colson, Jerry Bedford, Terrence Jackson, Hacksign KT, Troy Scott, Denise Scales, Wallow J, I Am Sixth, Andre Edwards, Jay Cage, Blair in Real Life, Chris Vesey, Carl Malone, All Things Travel, Mainly Cruising, Key Prince, Magenta Ocean, Kid Gravity Beyond, Miss Renee, Carl Mahone, Soul Flow, Cyberdyne 100, Scoop 2003, Crackadilla Dundee. I don't know if I pronounced your last name correctly, but we'll keep on going. Mr. Williams, Kane, The Bad Guy, Deneen Grant, DJ, Tawana Cook, and that is it so far. And shout out to anybody else named who I'm probably miss on their way in, but definitely hit that like button. But like I said earlier this week, well, now a couple days ago, that I was going to be talking about this and basically saying how what 45 is doing right now is no different than what Joe Biden and the Democrats have been doing. And that goes all the way back to the shoe thing. Now, remember what I was, if you saw in the thumbnail, I have a picture of Trump's shoes that to this day, I still have yet to see anybody wear, at least out in public. So, and then I went on his website and it still said they're sold out. That's probably because they never restocked from the 10 pairs that they sold. And then when you had that guy up on there on Fox News saying, well, black people love sneakers. So, you know, if you just push these sneakers out on black people, they'll just vote for Trump. I'm like, do y'all not see the insult with that? And then he went like a week later and spoke at that whatever federation, that Black Conservative Federation thing, and he insulted them there too. Then about the mug shots and all of that. And now fast forward to this. I'm like, if y'all don't see the writing on the wall, that's why I titled the stream, y'all deserve to get hustled if you fall for this. Because the same thing could be applied to the other side too. That's why I said two wings aim buzzard. So we're going to go ahead and start this off with this article. Oh, before I actually do that, let me give a shout out to three people. First off, shout out to Moxie Approved, Blacklight Revelations, and Professor Black Truth, because they all spoke about this on their channels. And I believe also Kid Gravity, because they all spoke about this as well. I think Lisa Cabrera did as well. Shout out to everybody who's in the New Black Media that spoke about this. And Professor Black Truth, he did his video about this, his address, I should say, about this morning. So if you didn't catch that, you need to go and watch that. But let me share my screen right quick. And we're going to go, I was going to go over the video first, but I said, let me go ahead and share the article first. That way we can get more details before we actually show the video itself, because I think the article will give a little bit more context. So as you can see right here, this is a picture from the rally that was held last Thursday, where Trump was there in the Bronx and he had two rappers up on stage with him. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I never heard of these guys a day in my life. Never heard of them. Now, if you were from New York, you probably have, so there, because they're more on a local, probably on a local underground level. But what I did find out about them, at least one of them, was very interesting considering the type of company that Trump likes to keep. And I'm gonna echo something that Blacklight actually said in one of his videos, because I was going to say the same thing. I find it interesting that Trump decided to bring these two guys up on that stage with him, but not the quote unquote polished black conservatives that kiss his butt every single day. And I said it's funny because wouldn't they be considered Pookie and Ray Ray if we want to have that discussion? That's crazy. Pookie and Ray Ray got chosen again over the polished black man. Oh, I went there with this one. So would that make 45 a city bitch? Just asking for clarification. Because like I said, he didn't call a Tim Scott up there. Byron Donalds, he was already up there, but he wasn't sharing the stage with him. He just said his little thing. All the ones that be shilling all over social media, like your Terrence K. Williams and your Bill Holtz and Laverne Spicers and all of them, they weren't there. I guess their invite got lost in the mail. But he decided to have these two up there. Let's read into this. Former President Donald Trump at his rally this week in the Bronx invited two rappers on stage who have been charged in a sweeping gang case, with one of them facing attempted murder charges. Michael Williams, better known as Chef G, is a 25-year-old rapper whose songs and videos have millions of YouTube views and Spotify streams. He is also a central figure in the gang case unveiled by Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez over a year ago, while he was serving a separate attempted weapons possession sentence. Tegan Chambers, age 24, who raps as Sleepy Hollow, has close to 11 million monthly listeners on Spotify. He faces conspiracy charges in the gang case. Both he and Chef G have pleaded not guilty. The presumptive Republican presidential nominee's appearance with suspected gang members comes as Trump is on trial himself in his New York hush money case, and as he is recurringly slams New York and other Democrat-run cities as crime-ridden. Trump has railed against the Manhattan District Attorney, who is prosecuting him for letting violent crime run rampant all over our city. Challenging the re-election of President Joe Biden, Trump is trying to make inroads with Black Americans who are traditionally supportive of the Democratic Party. AP Votecast found Trump won just 8% of Black voters nationwide in 2020 versus 91% who voted for Biden. At a rally on the Jersey Shore earlier this month, Trump was joined on stage by NFL Hall of Fame linebacker Lawrence Taylor, who pleaded guilty in New York 2011 to misdemeanor criminal charges of sexual misconduct and as a registered sex offender. Taylor said he had always been a Democrat until he met Trump. I'm telling you, this stuff is just reading like a bad script. This thing is just reading like a very bad script, because I forgot just that quickly about the Lawrence Taylor one. U.S. Representative Richie Torres, a Democrat who represents the Bronx in Congress, said it is an offensive strategy for Trump to associate with people who are accused of violent crimes in order to appeal to Black voters. The conflation of communities of color, there it is, with criminality is a racist trope that Donald Trump repeats, said Torres, who is Black, but he says of color in that last name Torres. Yeah, kind of on shaky ground. Images captured on Thursday show Chef G walking into the park where the rally took place, with cameras following him as a teenage boy seemed visibly excited at spotting the rapper. One of them said, "Oh my God, it's Chef G." Toward the end of his speech on Thursday, Trump asked his supporter, "Does everybody know Chef G? Where is Chef G?" And we're going to play the video for y'all too. This is just the transcript, the verbal transcript. President Trump, my man Chef G, was heard saying before Trump gestured to him to approach the microphone. "One thing I want to say, they are always going to whisper your accomplishments and shout your failures. Trump is going to shout the wins for all of us," Chef G told the crowd before Sleepy Hollow moved to the microphone to utter Trump's slogan, "Make America Great Again." I keep telling y'all, I know a script when I hear one. A spokesman for Trump's campaign was asked about whether the campaign knew about the charges and whether it was the former president who sought the rappers' support or was it the other way around. As Chef G said, they always whisper your accomplishments and shout your failures, campaign spokesman Steve Chung responded in an email. A spokesman for the U.S. Secret Service, which provides protection for Trump and secures his rallies, did not respond to a request for comment about Chef G and Sleepy Hollow appearance on stage. That sounds very suspicious to me. I don't know about y'all, but that sounds very suspicious to me. Trump called other speakers to the stage, including Republican Byron Donalds of Florida, another person with a shaky past, and Reverend Ruben Diaz Sr., a former Democratic City Council member in New York and state senator. That grift, KG, I know you still in the chat. November the 5th is coming. I can't wait for it. Both Chef G and Sleepy Hollow are due back in court next month. Chef G's attorney, Arthur Adela, said Friday that intense litigation was ongoing and were cautiously optimistic that Mr. Williams will be exonerated. A measure-seeking comment on the case was left with Sleepy Hollow's attorney. After being paroled in his weapons case in June 2023, Chef G was held on the new charges until last month when a judge set bail at $1.5 million cash. Sleepy Hollow was released on $200,000 bail in May 2023. Prosecutors say Chef G's money fueled and rewarded multiple shootings as members of the 8 Trey Crips and affiliated non-way gang affiliated battled foes. He treated Sleepy Hollow and others to a steak dinner to celebrate on October 2020 shooting that killed a purported member of a rival gang and injured 5 others. It is how, in part, Chef G and Tegan Chambers, Sleepy Hollow assert influence, right? Because they take people out and they're able to spend money and they're able to encourage others to do some of the gang violence that just critically important to them and their status in the community. Prosecutors have said they have surveillance videos, text messages, social media posts, cell phone data, and more to back up the allegations. While Gonzalez has noted that the rapper's songs refer to gang retaliation and some of their rivals, he has said the lyrics weren't used as evidence. Prosecutors also say Chef G chauffeured 3 co-defendants to and from an April 2021 shooting that targeted a gang rival, but instead hit 2 bystanders. So that's the article itself right there. I wanted to go over the article first because the article gave a little bit more detail before actually playing the video itself, because the video is only 35 seconds. So let me move over here so y'all can actually see the clip itself.
President Trump, oh man. One thing I want to say. One thing I want to say, they always gonna whisper your accomplishments and shout your failures. Trump gonna shout the wins for all of us. Make America great again.
Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so y'all heard that rather interesting performance, because at the end of the day, I keep telling people the world is a stage. Everyone has a part. And there's 3 actors on that stage and a bunch of extras in that crowd. Nothing about what you just saw was organic. Nothing. Oh, you heard the accent too, right? Tidris, with the second one, you heard that accent. He couldn't hide it if he tried. I know one of them, I think one of their parents is Haitian, and I think the other one is Trinidadian. Yeah, I think that's one of them. Now, the other one, I'm not entirely sure, but you can hear that accent strong on the second guy that spoke. Let's go through some of these comments. So you have this person right here says, I always knew that Chef G fella was one of the good ones. And then they posted up a picture of your typical dub S in these spaces that, you know, walk around saying MAGA this and MAGA that, but also be the same ones to say black people make up 13% of the population and commit 50% of the crime, talking about black on black crime this and black on black crime that. Chicago, Baltimore, Atlanta, any black enclave or municipality that you can think of, so on and so forth. So I thought that was interesting that they put that like that. This person right here says, I think we're living in a Boondocks episode. They said Trump bringing out Chef G to his Bronx rally. That's a calculated move. Someone says Donald Trump getting ready to come save America in 2024. Someone else says there is no chance in Donald Trump not winning the next election. His opponent isn't contending. Now they got a picture right here. Donald Trump wearing grills. Someone says bullish on Trump. Another one says not him bringing his token black person, or in this case, black persons. That's exactly what he did. Again, look at who he brought up there. That's I keep telling y'all, these parties are the same. Do not let it be. Don't fool yourselves in thinking that they're separate. A lot of their ideologies are very much in line with each other. Someone else said Trump is for all the brothers and sisters, and I bet you it's not even a black person running that account. Someone else said, who is Chef G? Another person said, this can't be real. This is a crazy crossover. Someone said, this is like a Marvel and DC collaboration. Another person said, and they saying this man is a racist. LOL. Look at this one. I'm a new fan of Chef G and Sleepy Hollow. MAGA. Man, if you thought the replies under this post was something, wait till y'all see the next one that has nothing to do with those two. New York for Trump. Trump by a landslide. I'm not the biggest Trump fan, but if you honestly think Biden is the better option of the two, you need to ask yourself a few questions. I have a few questions for both of them. It says, out of all the most random collabs ever, this one is probably the weirdest. Someone said people's president. Another person said another prop. It says, even the gangsters are worried for the nation. Speaks volumes. So on and so forth. So y'all pretty much get the picture. Those were the replies under that one. Now here's another post that I wanted to show y'all that deals with another rapper. And we all know this rapper. And shout out to the 200. Oops, I didn't mean to take myself off the screen. My bad. Let me go ahead and put it back up. Now, this next person we are all familiar with. Waka Flocka Flame. So I saw, and it's amazing, this one really did not make its rounds like that, and they were posted around the same time. The other one was posted on the 23rd, and this one was posted on the 24th. So this person named Ian said, breaking, former President Donald Trump has been invited to appear at a Waka Flocka Flame concert on Trump's birthday, June 14th in Miami. Let's look more into this. It says, former president has been invited to appear, so on and so forth, yada, yada, yada. The appearance will come after a well-received Bronx, New York City rally. If they want to call it well-received, so on, so be it. I keep telling people, I hope y'all recognize the play here. And then they came back and says, no, rapper Waka Flocka has endorsed Donald Trump for president. Now look at this Philip Anderson person right here. Look at what they said. Black celebrities and rappers are backing Donald Trump hardcore. The endorsements and the love from the black community keeps coming Trump's way. Biden is in big trouble. Excuse me. These rappers and entertainers, they don't speak for the collective. But I want y'all to pay attention, though, to the language. The same thing that they accuse the Democrats of doing and still doing, they're now doing themselves. They realize that while they didn't like how they claimed that they didn't like what the Democrats was doing, they realize if you are going to fight fire, you are going to have to fight it with fire. So now they're doing the same exact thing. That's why I said they are so hypocritical, it's not even funny. They are so much the same rather than they are different. And not a policy in place is discussed. That's another thing they have in common, especially one that's for our benefit. Another person said, go Trump. They says only the best people for Trump, right? They said it's a big play. He has to push for the youth, and this is the way. Well, my thing is this. When's the last, I can remember the last time Waka Flocka released an album. Waka Flocka was relevant when I was in college. I was in college between the years of 2007 and 2011. It's now 2024. I couldn't even tell you the last song he dropped. But you know, when it comes to PC, they always late. So they probably think this guy came out like yesterday. This person right here said it's going to be sold out. Someone says, I bet he doesn't go. Because remember, he invited him. Now, here's the crazy part about it. Just like Chef G and Sleepy Hollow, Waka Flocka also has a record himself. Are y'all seeing the pattern? Are y'all seeing the pattern here? Someone found this, got this screenshot. It says that in January 3rd, 2011, he turned himself in. He was booked on possession of marijuana, hydrocodone, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, which means he's already had priors, and violation of probation for driving on a suspended license. And he was released after posting bail the next day. Then it said on October 10, 2014, he was arrested at the airport when he found he had a loaded gun in his luggage. So I just want people to realize and understand the type of company that 45 is starting to keep. But the thing is, if people remember, Trump doing this is nothing new. All you got to do is look back at pictures and images and videos of Trump back in the day and look at a lot of the rappers and black entertainers that used to be around him back then. So this play that he's doing right here is nothing new. It's just that he wasn't running for a political office back then. That for him was just keeping up appearances and trying to remain relevant amongst a certain demographic. He's just doing, but now he's doing it again. But now he feels like it's for a bigger purpose, one that's more self-serving of him for him. So now you got people saying, "Oh, Trump, he's gonna have to go. He should go. He needs to go," and all this, that, and third. And most of the people that's saying, you know, I'm all for this, I'm all for that, have no clue who this guy is. I mean, just a bunch of phony and fakeness. But if that wasn't interestingly enough, there's another article that came out recently, and this time it's not even dealing with a rapper. It's dealing with a football player, well, I guess ex-football player now, and that one being Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown says that he's backing Donald Trump, and he's citing he's doing that because he's pardoning hip-hop figures. Again, not a policy in place, none of that, just him pardoning people that he probably knows. That's all it took. Former NFL player Antonio Brown is known for saying virtually anything that is on his mind. The outspoken Super Bowl champion recently sat down for a wide-ranging interview with Outkick. Outkick, oh my God. That's another one of those echo chambers, y'all, just in case y'all were unaware. The conversation eventually shifted to politics, with author Nick Adams asking Brown about the origins of his perceived affinity for former President Trump. I've never met him. I've got admiration for his business moves, and I study his dad, Fred Trump. But wow, you study his dad? Well, how much did you look into his dad, Antonio? I want to know, how far did you research his dad? Because if he researched enough, that should have been a red flag. A few red flags would have popped up. But I think Donald Trump is a good businessman and comes from a good family and has been a good president. Adams later asked Brown if he was backing Trump in the upcoming presidential election. He goes on to say, yes, I'll endorse Trump. But Brown cited the pardons and commutations Trump granted in his final days in the Oval Office in 2021. I think he does some great things for my brothers in the music industries in regards to Lil Wayne and Kodak Black. In the days leading up to the 2020 presidential election, 5-time Grammy Award winner Lil Wayne met with Trump at a Florida golf club. The encounter culminated with the photo of the rapper standing next to the politician, which was shared on Wayne's social media account. Just a few weeks after the meeting, Wayne was charged with felony gun possession. He proceeded to enter a guilty plea. At the time, the music star faced up to a decade in prison. But Wayne's sentencing never happened, as the hip-hop artist was among the 143 pardons and commutation announced by the former president on his final days in office. On January 21st, 2021, Wayne thanked Trump for granting his pardon. Desiree Perez, the CEO of Jay-Z's entertainment company Roc Nation, and Death Row Records co-founder Michael Harris were also on the list of individuals who received pardons or commutations. The string of decisions by Trump seemed to cap a lengthy yet complicated relationship between the former president and the hip-hop industry. Brown also called on Trump to help free Young Thug. The rapper is currently standing trial before an Atlanta jury. The hip-hop star, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams, was arrested in Atlanta in May 2022 and is charged with conspiracy to violate Georgia's Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organization, or RICO Act, for an offense dating to January 2013, and suspicion of participating in criminal street gang activity. Trump, if you're watching this, you need to free Young Thug if you could help out, Brown said. Only a sitting U.S. president can grant a pardon or commutation of federal charges. The pardons or commutations do not apply to state charges or any other charges. And the rest is just like his resume as far as being a football player. Yeah. And it's crazy because I actually had a live stream that I was scheduled to do or going to do involving Antonio Brown and something, and him. It was a bootleg that he checked. I'll probably still do it, but I'm gonna still have this playing in the back of my head. But I just want y'all to understand what the play is here. I just want y'all to understand the play that is going on here. They, as and when I say they, I'm talking about both parties, have a lot of similarities. Now, there's one last thing I'm going to show y'all before I drop the link. And it's this article right here from Politico. And shout out to Afro Elite, because he actually talked about this article on his live that he did on Monday. Now, this is where I believe the whole mudslinging thing is coming in. And I'm just sitting here saying to myself, just off of the title alone, I'm like, I don't know why y'all are saying that, because we over here see both of you for what you truly are. So it says Biden and Trump campaigns call each other racist as they seek to court black voters. I don't know why they're calling each other racist, because they are. So it's like, I mean, you're preaching to the choir. We already knew that, and we know what play you're doing. That's why I saved this article for last. It says President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump campaigns are attempting to court black voters by accusing each other of being racist. In a pair of radio and television ads published Wednesday, the Biden campaign took aim at the presumptive Republican nominee. The television ad highlighted a decades-old clip of Trump saying, "Of course I hate these people," from a 1989 CNN interview where the future president was calling for the death penalty for the Central Park Five, a group of teenagers later exonerated of convictions related to a violent sexual attack of a white woman. Donald Trump disrespecting black people is nothing new, a narrator said in the Biden ad, launched hours before Trump is set to hold a campaign rally in the Bronx, of course, which already happened. A diverse New York City borough with large populations of black and Latino residents. A Biden campaign account shared the video on X, formerly Twitter, by saying, "Let's remember Trump is a lifelong racist." The Trump campaign quickly countered, firing off a statement reminding voters of Joe Biden's history of racist remarks, noting that he was the driving force behind the 1994 crime bill, which led to a sharp uptick of sentences and incarceration rates of black people. So basically what they did was they took two big major components of their past that was steeped in anti-blackness and literally brought them to the forefront today. I will give them this. I'm glad they did that, not for their benefit, but for ours, in the sense that most people didn't even know about either of these things. So now, for those who weren't aware that 45 had put that ad in that paper to call for the death penalty for those 5 teenagers for a crime they did not commit, even after the DNA cleared them, in which he still didn't give them an apology, I wouldn't hold my breath to say that he's going to give them one. And then the crime bill with Joe Biden, which definitely hurt a lot of black people nationwide. Now, people who were unaware of that now know about it. But then you'll still have some people out there that are going to say, "Oh, that was in the past. Let's just learn to move on." No, let's not move on. This ad is another cheap attempt from the Biden campaign to gaslight black voters and fails to address Biden's terrible policies that are hurting our community, said Janiyah Thomas, Trump campaign black media director, in a statement. Lobbing accusations of racism at the competition used to be a relatively rare campaign occurrence. That the back and forth is taking place in May of an election year foreshadows a race that will be both toxic and deeply personal. But Trump has invited these charges before by pushing policies like a Muslim ban and disparaging judges overseeing cases involving them by pointing to their ethnicity and heritage. Biden faced blowback in the 2020 Democratic primary for his past work with segregationist senators and his efforts around that crime bill, though charges of overt racism were not leveled by his Democratic opponents. You know what this is also saying to me? Y'all know how they like to talk about the lesser of two evils? That's what this is showing right here. Who's the less anti-black? It doesn't matter, is the response. They both are. That's the response. This cycle, both Biden and Trump are competing hard for black voters with less than 6 months to go before the election. And the Biden ad campaign is designed to reach and mobilize them. The audio began airing this week, according to a press release, on nationally syndicated urban radio programs, including the D.L. Hughley Show and the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. The television ad will air in the swing states of Pennsylvania, Georgia, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Black voters, traditionally the most loyal bloc of the Democratic Party, have in recent months shown signs of flagging support in the polls. A recent New York Times survey of key battleground states this month found that more than 20% of black voters in Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin say they would be backing the former president over Biden. If those figures hold, it would be the highest figure a Republican presidential candidate has earned since the civil rights era. Trump has been trying to make inroads with black voters, insisting that his criminal indictments endear him to African Americans. That was such an insulting statement because not all black people have records. I never took a mugshot a day in my life. Who also have been mistreated by the criminal justice system. During a stop at a Harlem bodega last month, Trump railed against Biden's border policies and called into question why New York Democrats have earmarked millions in assistance for recent arrivals to the county while ignoring American black and brown communities. And then they did the black and brown again. They poured in and taken over parks. They took over your hotels. They take over everything. It's no good, Trump said in April. They've destroyed so many people. The African-American community is now not getting jobs. Migrants are taking their jobs that are here illegally. So there it is right there. So I wanted to show y'all this article to show you they're trying to do the lesser of two evils thing to say, look, black people, he's bad. He wrote a whole crime bill for you back in the day. Or saying on the other side, hey, black people, look at this guy. He's bad. He called for the death of 5 teenagers for a crime they didn't even commit. And when DNA cleared them, he still didn't even apologize to this day. Like I said, both of them are bad. If they are not going to implement, first off, reparations and intangibles, or getting rid of qualified immunity, which this guy right here said that he's going to give the cops more power and more immunity. We heard it for ourselves. Or anti-black hate crime bill, then neither one of them are any use to us. As far as I'm concerned, as of right now, and as it stands, the couch is going to have my vote come November. President Couch. That sounds like has a nice ring to it. President Couch. But I know some of y'all have something y'all want to say about this. So I dropped the link right there in the chat, and you can come on up and speak your piece. It's the fact that we stuck with these two as candidates. I know people are going to say, oh, what about the third party ones and everything like that, but no one's really checking for them. Let's be real with ourselves here. LB, what's going on?
What's up, Torian?
How you doing?
Hey, good, man. How you feeling, bro?
I'm doing good.
All right. So, hey, back in the 90s, Trump himself was a Democrat. A lot of people forgot that.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump himself was donating a lot of these Democrat campaigns. He donated to the Clintons and all that. He was buddy with the Clintons and all that.
Yeah.
So, like, right now, and by it, they're no different than each other. Professor Black Truth always talk about how they're a distinction without a difference.
Yeah.
So when you hear Trump and both of these guys be slurring their words, both these guys got cognitive declines about them and all that. And it's like, who do you pick? It's like, Couch 2024, man. Nobody's bringing any tangibles to the table. And remember back at the debate 4 years ago when Trump was like, I'm the least racist person in the room. I mean, what do you mean you the least racist person in the room? That still makes you a racist. But anyway, and then, Trump got all those legal troubles about him. He out here hustling shoes that cost like $500 with a water hits it and starts back talking. Then he's out here peddling Bibles. Now, what billionaire out here peddling Bibles?
Yeah.
Right. Peddling Bibles with the fake leather. And then it's supposed to be separation of church and state, but yet he got the Bill of Rights and the Constitution in it. Now, mind you, the people he trying to serve this proverbial red meat to don't even read the Constitution. Hell, they can't even spell the Constitution. Right. Can't even spell Constitution and all that. And they sitting up here talking about, yeah, we're going to attach the Bill of Rights and some full leather on the Bible, violating the flag code by putting the flag on the Bible. And they charge you $60 when you get the Bible for free online. Make it make sense.
They'll pay for it.
Yep, they'll pay for it. Yep. All the meanwhile, he's taking them. He is leading these cows down to the slaughterhouse. But hey, Tori, I ain't here to take up too much of your time. I just wanted to come in and chop it up with you. I'm pretty sure you're going to that reparations rally on the 15th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see you there.
All right.
All right, Torian.
All right. Shout out to LB for coming up. Next, we got Wallow J. What's going on?
What's going on, Torian? First off, I don't know which one it was, but one of them looked like the fake Pop Smoke. Made Pop Smoke rest in peace, because you trying to rip off somebody else's look, trying to kick it as your own look. So fuck him. Second of all, like you said, 2 buzzards, same. I don't fucked it up, but you know what I was about to say. But fuck them both. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say, man. Peace out.
Shout out to Wallow J. Next up, we have Brian, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Tarian?
What's going on?
I just love the title of your backdrop, The Great American Hustle with R in parentheses.
I actually had it a different way. It was the same thing, but I actually had Great American Hustle in white and then only had the R in red. But I don't know. I think I might have gotten the thumbnails mixed up because I think I might have say two different versions of it. But this actually worked perfectly. Yeah,
it does.
You the first person to actually acknowledge that too.
But think about how perfect the title is, number one, and number two, how perfect the thumbnail is for it. Mm-hmm. Who's in the middle of all this shit?
Yep.
Okay, and what do we always say? It's two sides of the same coin.
Right.
It's always been two sides of the same coin. I cannot tell you how many times my mother, rest her soul, tried to get me to vote blue no matter what. And when I actually grew a brain and started thinking about politics and started researching this and see how everything goes, I'm like, nah, no thanks. I'm good. Especially during the Obama elections. Good Lord. When the Obama elections happened, I was in Chicago. I was living in Gary, Indiana, but I was near Chicago. Do I need to tell you how that turnout went? Or both of them?
Nah.
And it's going to be the same thing again. It's going to be the same thing again. Only all you have to do, if anybody remembers the game show Card Sharks, flip the card over and you'll see a card you don't want to play, but you're forced to play it. It's like, I'll use Card Sharks again as a reference. You get up to the big bet, you got a ton of money, but you have to risk half of it on the turn of a card, and you can't change it again. That's the situation we're in right now. But for me, I invoke George Carlin. I've solved this political dilemma for myself. I stay home.
Yeah, I think that now, I think this year in particular, I think a lot of Black people, hopefully more Black people than ever, are starting to see the writing on the wall from both sides. And like I said, I'm like, are people not really paying attention to what's really going on here? It's like, wow. It's literally right in front of you what they're trying to do. And it's only May. I mean, we only got two more days left in the month. We getting ready to go into the third quarter.
Yep.
That time is ticking. And as time gets closer and closer, hopefully, more and more will reveal itself. But I think so far, a lot has already revealed itself so far. And we are only about halfway into the year.
To those of us who really watch and pay attention, we already saw the picture. We already saw it. And if you really think about it, we saw the picture in 2021 in the height of COVID. Now you're just seeing the edges being painted. You're just seeing the edges being painted in. And the rest of the picture, as you said, Tarian, will reveal itself. And hopefully Black people get the message that, hey, this ain't going to work for us until we do something we should have done a long time ago. Hold the vote. Matter of fact, I'll go one step further. You know, the group of people who should really withhold their vote? Black men.
I said, well, you know what? I can't even disagree with you, especially with how, what's her name? Last year, was it last year or the year before? Stacey Abrams with what she did. It was last year. It was last year with what she did down there. And I don't even want to go too much into, but I'm sure you're already aware of it. But that move she tried to pull, I was like, now I was like, Stacey, now come on now, really, really. So yeah.
It's like the best way I can describe. I'm a football nerd, as you know, and I host a morning sports talk show. The best way I can describe it is when you got 9 in the box on a 4th and 1, and they're daring you to turn and hand the football off. You're in a run formation. They're in a run stop formation. What? You're going to try and run against that? But that's what they're showing us, man. They're showing us that they're going to stack the box and dare us to come up with a game-changing play. The game-changing play for Black men, don't vote. Until the reparations start for us, with all the shit that we've taken and have gone through, and I include myself in the situation for kicking cancer in the ass as well as blood clots, and the state of Indiana still won't give me any disability? Oh, hell no. We should be at the point of saying, we're not taking this anymore, and we're going to stay silent until y'all make some changes that favor black men.
Was that it? You have anything else, or was that it?
That was it.
All right. Appreciate you coming up.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right. The next person we have coming up is Xavier. What's going on?
Hey, Torian. B1, brother.
B1.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, right. Okay. So it's just a brief thing. I think you said it best. That neither of these two geezers is worth voting for, in my opinion. Biden has proven that he is a snake in the grass to black people, and we all know 45 has always been on that anti-black train from day one. Like there's no coming back for him. So any of these so-called black conservatives trying to sell Trump try to sell him as the lesser of two evils, they're not telling the truth at all, because both of them are evil. Just look at the response Biden gives to black people when they remind him of all his promises that he has failed to keep up until now. He gave more money to the police when they were asking him to. All we're asking him to do is rein these race soldiers in, make sure they have consequences for whenever they take out innocent black people for no reason. And he didn't even do that. He could easily have done that by executive order. 45 is no better. 45 is all for the police. In fact, he's asking for more brutal policing. So that's a complete shit show. And at the end of the day, it's like the best candidate by far is the couch. So you can't
Exactly.
until someone actually does something tangible. There's really it makes no sense. And I really look forward to what happens on November 5th, because I feel like it's going to be an eye opener for everyone involved, including Biden. Biden's fucking around with these, especially with he's losing a lot of, not just black people, even the Muslim community has largely abandoned him, and he doesn't know how bad he's going to get it until the election, because just the way he's handled the whole conflict in the Middle East is definitely nothing to write home about. So the Democrats are in for a really rude awakening, especially when you consider the fact that they have neglected black people for so long, just assuming that black people are just going to vote for them no matter what, just because you're just slightly less racist than the other side. While you're not openly racist, you're just covering it up with smiles and fake promises. But in the end, you're just as bad. So I think at the end of the the previous caller was saying about how his late mom was trying to get him to vote blue. My parents are basically the same way. My mom is a huge Clinton. She's a Clinton fan. Let's just put it like that. And when I try to have a conversation about he really didn't help black people. He doesn't really understand what I mean, because I think that their generation is all about they bought into the hype of these people, and it's hard to get them to see otherwise. So it's up to our generation and and the ones coming after us to really change that. And I like the fact that it's changing a lot faster now than it did in the past, and people are beginning to see through the bullshit. And that's largely thanks to voices like yours and the other new black media. So I would say I'll land with this: just stay the course, and right now the black vote is up for sale. Whoever can deliver gets the vote. That's it, and that's how it should be, because no other group does anything. It does gives their votes for free. They always get the bag or something. So
Exactly.
that's really all I got. And thanks for bringing me up, and keep up the good fight, brother. Be one.
Appreciate it. B1. And shout out to Xavier for coming through. And also we got a super chat. Shout out to Scoop 2003 for the 5. He says they're all anti-black, even the black ones are anti-black. And I'm glad you hit the super chat, because I got a new drop for when people donate to the super chat. So here we go.
It's busy up here. I got money.
Shout out to Scoop 2003 for that. And the last person I'm going to bring up is Del Monte. He says Del Monte Green Beans. What a name. What's going on?
What's up with you, yo?
What's going on?
Family good and all that? Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right. Man, I've been knowing this stuff I'm from the Thundercat generation. I'm up in my 40s, almost 50.
Okay.
So I've seen this stuff play out back in the day. It's kind of, I've been knowing this shit was janky since they interrupted Knight Rider and A-Team back in the day. I'm like, yo, they've been doing this. They've been doing funny style stuff for the longest. I ain't voted ever because I know they on some game. It's always been game. Been knowing this stuff for a long ass time, yo. These people be playing games with us.
That's
And
why
you can't really find out until after you vote for them. That's the whole funny part about it too.
This is why I call them pie lie trictions. The key words there is lie and trick.
Yeah, yo, I'm like, yo, they interrupted Knight Rider and A-Team back in the day. I was at my grandmother's house. You know what I'm talking about? Back in the 80s and all that. When shit was cool. Now it's all chopped and screwed. Now it's all crazy. Everything is backwards. I just got to tell everybody, any veteran that's in this chat, you better train yourself, get yourself trained back up, because it's about to pop off here in a few. And if you got family members that are veterans, you might well listen to them, what they talking about, because we know what's up. Because it's about to go down out here. Y'all need to be prepared. And it sounds extreme, but you can see the writing on the wall. Very, very, very lightweight here. You see how the police is acting. You see how these politicians is acting. You see how prices is going up on everything. Yo, come on now, y'all. It's almost like a subject we don't need to really be talking in front of everybody on this internet sometime. I get that this is what we have to do to even reach out to each other like this, but we in different regions and things like that. If you on the East Coast or the West Coast, you need to get out of the East, because those areas are right there on those East lines and all that. It's water. You can't, it's going to take you harder to get back inland for tactical reasons. So y'all need to, some way, everybody need to get on the same page. I know it's hard because everybody listens to certain people through the internet. All of us are saying almost the same thing, but we may have a different disagreement and agreement through it and all that. And then all the brothers from Africa and all that, y'all need to get in line and stop that bullshit with us trying to separate from us and all that. Y'all need to fall in line and in rank, because we trying to tell you what the fuck is going on and y'all don't listen. Y'all want to sit here and kiss people's ass that don't like you. They don't want you here. They using you to get rid of us. And when you get rid of us, FBAs, when they get rid of us, all of y'all are in trouble. I'm gone. All right, bro?
Appreciate it. All right. So another person just popped up right here. Sa.
What's going on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, yeah. So thanks for the show. It was pretty good. So I don't know if you mentioned this because I kind of popped in late, but Do you remember Matt Gaetz? Do you remember him talking about this kind of thing? He said,
you gotta be specific because Matt Gaetz has said a lot of stuff.
right. So he actually tried. He said that the MAGA base, they said they need a blue collar realignment for the Republican Party.
Is this when he said a couple months ago when he was trying to like so-called diversify MAGA? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about because I did a video on that.
You did a
I
show
know
on it.
Yeah.
He said for every Karen we lose, there's a Julio and a Jamal ready to sign up for the MAGA movement, right? And we're going to be more diverse. And he actually
and what happened a month later? They gutted the GOP minority outreach,
and they went at him. He had like a little mutiny on his hands. Those right-wing nut jobs on these shows were up there criticizing him, saying, "Oh, this is DEI." See, they don't want blue collar. You know what I'm saying? So Trump, he's kind of like he's trying to like thread the needle right now. He wants to like troll for our vote, but he doesn't want to push his base away, you know? So, I mean, right before he brought those two rappers on, he was up there. He gave a whole speech about crime and lawlessness and how we're going to fight against it and fight against DEI, this, that, and the other, right? Then he brings them up as an example of exactly what he's going to fight against. And people are up there looking at it like, oh, he's supporting us. But his base knows, they know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Of course they know.
So, right. So I think it's kind of like he's trying to play to both sides in a way, right? The people he can fool from our side and still show, that he knows where the line is to be drawn, right? If you want the black vote, you got to serve the interest of the criminal, the criminal class, not the blue collar class, and definitely not the white collar class. So that's the observation I was making. That's all.
No problem. I see exactly what you mean, but thanks for coming up. All right, everybody. I think that was the last person to come up. Shout out to everybody that came up, especially if this is the first time you've coming up to speak. I think I had about maybe 2, maybe 3 people for the first time come up and speak about this topic. I'm glad that y'all came up. I love hearing from different people. Of course, I love hearing from the regulars as well. But shout out to everybody that came through. Shout out to School 2003 for donating today with the super chat. I appreciate that as well. And that's going to bring this midday stream to a close. Make sure that if you did not happen to catch this, to watch the replay on this, and also, regardless, to share this stream for everyone else to see who needs to see it. We will be back here tomorrow with the 11 a.m. premiere video, which is going to be about the anti-blackness that one of the actresses on the show House of the Dragon dealt with. I go into some very interesting detail with that one. So be sure to check that out when that premieres tomorrow. And with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe and be one.